welcome back to another issue. I'm Beastie Boy,
I'm Table.
I'm Red.
And it is I, Shino Brando.
and in this issue, we gather all the key in the world for Shino's guide into the beginnings of the Dragon Ball universe.
So, quick question for the three of you. Who here has actually seen this before?
Me.
I've seen bits and pieces.
Have you guys ever seen Goku actually grow up, or than just seen him as like child form and then just
I
adult
have
form?
seen
or
him. I'm sure we'll get to it, but when he decides to use his head and go through one of his opponents, I have seen that scene, and I have seen a bunny opponent.
Okay, so there's a whole lot in between. So,
Yeah.
I've seen the majority of it, but I just need a refresher for most parts.
I knew a guy who was reading the Dragon Ball manga in elementary, and so I taught myself some random stuff about Dragon Ball to hold conversation, but I can't tell you much beyond that. That kid has a monkey tail for reasons that were never disclosed to me, other than he's an alien, don't worry about it.
That's it. That's pretty much it. A lot of you have not even seen this anime. Only those who've actually tuned into, I think, like Cartoon Network or now on Funimation. There's a whole audience out there who've just only seen Z and everything that followed up after that, which is kind of a shame because the beginning stuff is kind of the good stuff, especially for those who don't think Goku actually has a growth development on there. He actually does, but it all happens in Dragon Ball. Funny story is that Dragon Ball Z is not supposed to be about Goku. It's actually supposed to be about his son, Gohan, which is pretty evident when he's the star of pretty much every arc afterwards. So if you don't know Goku's story, I'm going to tell you today.
Before you begin, may I ask, if one wanted to go through it as you're explaining it and watch it, where would be the best place to do that legally?
I honestly, Funimation.com, it has the entire library of it, both English and Japanese, subtitled the whole way through, so you get it in both dubs if you wanted. So influences on Akira Toriyama's work for Dragon Ball, he was totally inspired by old kung fu cinema, especially just anything from the Shaw Brothers, in particular Bruce Lee stuff and Gordon Liu. He's also loved a lot of American pulp culture, mainly comic books. Big influences on him were, of course, Superman, a lot of Star Wars stuff, a lot of Batman too, even. He was greatly influenced by Stan Lee and everybody down at the DC camp, even Disney. All the animal characters in Dragon Ball are all inspired by Disney characters, surprisingly. You get the idea as we get to like Boo, who's inspired by Cinderella by the naming. You have Bibbidi, Bobbidi, and Boo.
Oh my god.
Wait, are you guys just getting that?
Are you just getting that?
What are their names?
No, but
They all
like,
were allied with each other.
I never put it together.
excuse
I
me
always
for
heard
not
them
getting references
separately.
right
I
away.
was like, yeah, that's Bibbidi, and that's Bobbidi, and that's Boo. And I was like, oh, okay, those are three separate names. Moving on.
Yeah, exactly.
And he has never strung them together. That's hilarious, right? Started way back in 84 when I was just a babby. Ran until 1995, 519 chapters, 42 volumes, and has been in the media constantly for like the last 36 years. So it's testament to how long it's been around. And so it's crazy how long that no one's ever seen actual Dragon Ball and just Dragon Ball Z. Here we go. The beginning. What do you guys know about Goku, like Goku himself?
It bridges the line between homage and just straight up stealing the idea of his planet goes to bits and Goku's in a pod and then he lands on Earth. And then some Oxman finds him.
Nope, not Oxman. Just good old Grandpa Gohan. So
I thought his son was Gohan.
I see. We're gonna get to
Exactly.
that. Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
Oh no.
So the first adventure, it deals with Emperor Pilaf. Those who don't know Emperor Pilaf, he's quite literally the first and the only reoccurring villain on the show. He's still there to this very day. He's even in Super now for that. Searching for the Dragon Balls, Bulma's journey leads her to Goku, who was orphaned. The only thing he had on hand were the clothes on his back, the power pole, and the 4-star Dragon Ball that Grandpa Gohan left behind for him after the night he was brutally murdered. Grandpa Gohan happens to be the world's top martial artist, period. People have come and challenged him, and he's put everyone down one by one. Even into his old age, he has been a constant powerhouse. He is only second to Master Roshi, and under him would be the Ox King, Chi-Chi's dad. Goku is literally out there on his own, fishing, tending to the land, doing his thing, and he gets run over by Bulma while she's en route to find the Dragon Ball. She's using her Dragon Radar to find it, that she built on her own, because in this world, Bulma happens to be super smart. Her father's doctor briefs, she's Bulma. That's all we know, and they're super smart, and because they're super smart, they're also super rich. Bulma doesn't really even intend to go to school. She just does what she wants. We literally have a 14-year-old girl on the lam, bumps into a young boy who has a Dragon Ball that she needs to make a wish, which is a pretty shallow wish, and I'll get to it at one point. And she convinces him to go along with her. She promises that the Dragon Ball will grant any wish, and then once it's done, he can have his Dragon Ball back. For Goku, he's like, okay, you can use it, but I'm gonna go along with you for sure to make sure that I don't lose it. And in this whole arc, they bump into Oolong, who happens to be the very first pervert of the show.
Wait, hang on. In the world of Pervert Prime, you've got Pervert the First?
Pervert the First. That's right. So Pervert the First, Oolong, the pig, is a shapeshifter. In this world, anything goes. Science, magic, whatever you want, it can happen. Akira Toriyama just liked the idea of just endless possibilities. Yeah, so they bump into Oolong, who's a shapeshifter, who's been kidnapping young girls and forcing them into marriage so that he can have endless dinners.
Yeah.
That seems...
So he tries to kidnap Bulma. That doesn't go over very well. One, because as dainty as Bulma wants to be, and the running joke in this whole show is they often try to treat women as the object or the butt of the joke, but it turns itself round on that. And so the women often get the upper hand in the cruel joke. So here we have Oolong kidnapping young girls, but because he's got himself in a kingdom and he's been just stealing things and he seems to be rich, they don't care about Oolong. They've just been using his stuff, watching his TVs, eating his food, using his stuff, but not giving him any attention. So the plan backfires.
His toilet. Yeah.
And because he's such a douche and he can't seem to outrun Goku, he is forced to tag along with Bulma now, who I can't remember. I think she fed him something. If she says one specific word, Oolong will shit his pants uncontrollably.
Oh my God.
What kind of curse is that? What the fuck?
Yeah, and she tricked him by letting him eat something, and he did. He was stuck around for a while, and their adventure goes on, and then they bump into Yamcha, the desert bandit. Now, before we get into Yamcha jokes, I want to let you guys know at one point in Dragon Ball, Yamcha was actually a thing. He actually had potential. He was a great fighter who was self-taught. Keep that in mind. Was an orphan as well. No backstory for him other than he just lived out in the desert by himself. Yeah, he one day bumped into Puar, saved her life, or his life, I should say. They don't really specify Puar's gender. Either one works. They've been best friends ever since. Puar has just been backing him up, stealing from people as much as possible. And so as Goku and Bulma's journey goes through Yamcha's territory, he tries to confront them. And this would be Goku's first loss. Take that in.
So let me just see if I've got this right. Young Goku, pole and all, gets his ass handed to him by Yamcha.
By Yamcha, who pulls the Wolfang fist on him. And the only reason why Goku lost is because he was extremely hungry. Running gag. As the journey goes, Pilaf, the Emperor, has his own plans of domination. He's after the Dragon Balls as well. But they're both landlocked to Ox King, whose castle has the Dragon Ball, but it seems to be on fire eternally. Can't be put out. And so Ox King makes a deal with Goku and the gang. If they can put out the fire, the Dragon Ball is theirs. They have no clue how to do it. Goku tries, but he can't get near fire, so he's like, forget it. We don't know how to do this. So they decide to seek out some help. I believe Ox King gives them the advice to go check out his former teacher, Master Roshi, and they do.
Oh no.
So and it begins. We get to the island. Lo and behold, we have the turtle hermit himself sitting there in his lawn chair reading porno. He sees Bulma and he's immediately erect and decides to go make his dirty moves, to which she completely, I think, obliterates him with a punch across the fucking face. Getting through the first arc. So, final confrontation is we come into Ox King's castle. In order to put out the fire, he says he has to do the Kamehameha wave. He does it by becoming super huge, bulky, and then, puts out a beam, blows the castle down. They get the Dragon Ball, and Goku's totally amazed by this power move. Roshi tells him, you can try practicing it. It takes 50 years to master. Goku does it in 5 minutes.
Goku's special.
Goku has one skill, and it's learning things super fast.
In the background is Yamcha, who overhears that the Dragon Balls are a thing, and so he's like, okay, maybe I don't really have to hang with these guys. Maybe I could kind of just steal the Dragon Balls when they're not looking and make my own wish.
Yamcha's a villain.
He confronts, just a dick move, he confronts Chi-Chi, who was immediately smitten by him because in this world, Yamcha is actually supposedly pretty handsome. She's smitten. And he coaxes her by trying to convince her to get the Dragon Ball for him. She is, I think, in trouble and is saved by Goku. But then she is smitten by instead. As he saves Chi-Chi, he's trying to figure out what gender she is, so he pats her in the groin area and he's like, oh, you're a girl. Oh. Continues flying. To which she's like, oh my god, he just touched me in that area. You fucking maniac. I'm in love with you now. We must marry.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there are easier ways to accomplish identifying someone's gender. Like asking?
Don't worry. I have a sick joke for that. So we're gonna get to that too.
Oh no.
So in the long run, we get to Pilaf's castle. Pilaf's got a lot of soldiers. He's got a lot of weapons. The gangs confront. They're cornered. They can't seem to stop him. He's gathered the Dragon Balls. He's trying to make a wish, but he can't summon the dragon. He doesn't know the keywords to get the dragon out. In the dungeon, there's a moon roof, you call it, like a sky window. Goku sees the full moon and turns Uzaru for the first time and wrecks the shit out of everything. In a previous fight, Yamcha had seen Goku get his tail tugged. So in his head is like, maybe that's the thing. So maybe we chop it off and that solves the problem. And it does. And Pilaf fucks off because Oolong knows the keywords, makes the wish, and Pervert the First gets his first wish granted. Do you know what it was?
Oh, I actually do know. I think I know. I
What
think
is
it's a
it?
pair
Go
of
ahead.
women's underwear.
That's right. He wished for
Oh my
100% cotton panties. Goku wakes up, finds out that his Dragon Ball has scattered somewhere around the world, which he's kind of pissed about. He's like, oh, but I need it back. So Bulma's like, here, you can have my Dragon Radar. You can go look for it. I don't need the Dragon Balls more because my wish is granted because I kind of like Yamcha. And Yamcha's like, oh my god, my wish is granted too because I was going to use it to just wish for a girlfriend, but oh my god, there's you. So they hook up and they go about their business. The next arc begins with Goku literally flying around for a full year in search of his Dragon Ball, but since it's dead weight, he can't get it. So he decides to go to Master Roshi's place for training, and then he meets his best friend for life, Krillin.
Mr. Krillin! Okay, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, the rules of the Dragon Balls, right? So after the wish is granted, what happens?
So they turn to stone and they scatter around the world for a full-on year. Then they will gain back their life after a full year cycle.
365-ish days later.
The second arc starts with Krillin, who sails his way right down to Roshi's island. He hears of Master Roshi through a lot of tales, the martial arts world, so he wants to go get some extra training. Bumps into Goku, who he immediately does not like because he's straight competition. And because Roshi's already seen Goku's strength, he's like, yeah, I'll teach you. Well, why should I teach you, bald kid? To which the kid's like, I heard you're a massive pervert, so I bought all these porno mags for you to bribe you. So Roshi's like, you're my second student now.
Oh my god.
You know what? Know your audience.
This would be the setting up of Goku's first tournament, the 21st Tenkaichi Budokai World Tournament. Their entries would include Yamcha, Krillin, Master Roshi, who disguises himself as Jackie Chun. Yes, I said that name.
Nice.
Yeah,
Super.
yeah.
It's incognito.
Exactly. So they go through the ranks, this being the first tournament to actually host kids because Goku and Krillin fucking qualified. No one can believe it. And there was, a lot of fighters in the crowd were feigning fraud.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. The boys put up to the challenge. They toss dude after dude out the ring. They beat their opponents and they get to they get past qualifications. So now the tournament gets huge, and in scope, the entire Turtle Hermit School pretty much takes over. Krillin places third, Goku places second, Jackie Chun places first. Goku sees a full moon again after fighting Jackie Chun post sundown. Goes Ozaru again, to which everybody else is shocked except for the usuals, Yamcha, Puar, Oolong, and the rest of the gang. They're okay, minus Krillin. This is his first time seeing Ozaru, and this poor bold man, whose eyes are usually just dots, actually are bulges out of his skull because he can't believe what he's actually seeing. A kaiju ape wrecking shit. This would be the first time the moon gets destroyed via Jackie Chun's Kamehameha wave.
Oh yeah.
He destroys the moon.
Destroys the moon with no repercussions because in this universe that has no weight on gravity whatsoever.
So there's just no moon anymore?
No moon for now, until we wish it back.
For now?
Sometime. For now, yeah, we can wish it back later. That's what Dragon Ball's for.
It's literally Dragon Ball, y'all. It happens.
So after the first world tournament, Goku parts ways. Krillin stays with Roshi and Launch, and Goku decides to go and find his grandfather's Dragon Ball, finally, which gets him to run into the Red Ribbon Army, which is a badass army. In this universe, the world is already under a universal peace. There's complete peace. There was moments in time when they did have chaos, and then in that course of time, you had heroes who came and cleaned that chaos up. Heroes? Yeah, so facing the Red Ribbon Army, Goku comes across, I believe, Commander Steel, Commander Red, a whole league of these dudes. Yeah. This is the first mention of androids. In fact, Goku's first opponent, after he comes into, I can't remember the area's name, but he ends up in the northernmost parts of his world and confronts this girl who pretty much houses him for a while as he's like out in the cold, gives him like winter gear, and he sets out to go and stop the Red Ribbon Army because they're terrorizing small villages and kidnapping and torturing and killing and the like. So Goku's like, that's uncool. I don't like that shit, and I'm gonna stop it. So he goes on his quest to stop them and forgets about the Dragon Ball for now. Commander Red cares about the Dragon Balls, so he kind of does want them. Goku then decides to kind of stop them from getting them, so he kind of tries to scoop a couple of them up and keep them away from the Red Ribbon Army. Doesn't work out for him pretty much, as he confronts Tao Pai Pai later on. In the course of things, he gets through his very first android, and he was literally dressed up as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my god.
T1's actually T1 style, I should say, with the spiky hair. Goku defeats him with some help from Android 8er, number 8, who is an android who has no murderous tendencies. He goes against his programming and is completely pacifistic in every way. He can't do any harm, and Goku's like, you're so damn kind. Why would anyone want to harm you? Who's bugging you, dude? I'm going to kick their ass. And then he does. And Goku would go on to continue fighting the Red Ribbon Army. And then he would confront Captain Blue, who was our very first openly gay character in Dragon Ball.
Representation.
So Goku needs another radar because his one's broken, so he goes to Bulma to get another one. She says, yeah, I can whip one up, no problem, but you're taking me with you because I just want to get out of the house. So she goes with him. They're like, you know what, I can use some extra help. So they go look for Krillin, to which Roshi's like, he's not here right now. He went to mainland to get groceries. And they're like without a vehicle. He's like, yeah, he wanted a challenge. He decided to go swim, gather the groceries, and swim it back. And Krillin does. And they go on their adventure. They're pursued by Captain Blue, which they try to locate a Dragon Ball in a pirate cave. I believe Bulma just whips up a fucking submarine out of her capsule, and they just go. Captain Blue decides to face both Goku and Krillin, and Bulma's like, well, fuck it. I'm a pretty girl, and he seems to be a hot dude. I'm gonna go try to use my feminine wiles and, kind of
against Captain Blue?
Yeah, and try to, divert his attention while you guys go with the Dragon Balls. To which he turns to her and he's like, excuse me, I'm not interested in you at all. I'm like, oh, all right. He said it. He did the thing. So Captain Blue can't beat them. The boys get away with Bulma. They get some of the Dragon Balls. He has to report back to Commander Red, who is in leagues with mercenary Tao Pai Pai, or in English, General Tao. Yes.
I hate that.
If you know your Chinese menus, this is the reason why he's named that. Here we have the Red unhappy with Blue's performance. And so he's like, well, looks like you're out of the army. To which Blue's like, you can't push me out, bro. And he's like, well, if you can beat mercenary Tao Pai Pai over here, I'll let you stay. And Blue's like, all right, I'll straight fuck this guy up right now. And so he proceeds to take a fighting stance, and then General Tao literally kills him in one blow by piercing his skull with his tongue.
Wow.
So let me just see if I've got this correct. Okay? Our one gay character gets skull tongued to death.
I think you can say skull fucked because that's what happened.
That's what happened.
And that's it for gay representation. That's it.
That's it for now. Yeah, Blue is immediately murdered. The Red Ribbon Army comes to a close. Goku destroys them all, beating Commander Red, destroys the Red Ribbon Army, finds his Dragon Ball. There is peace once again, and they decide to go to another fucking tournament. Goku did lose to General Tao in his first fight. And so, feeling down, he had no idea how to beat him. So he was given advice to climb Korin's Tower. Korin's Tower is located in these, I can't remember the lands, but it's a very greeny grasslands, peaceful lands, where a Native American fellow named Apu, I think, was it Apu? Lives there with his son Upa. And,
Apu, I think.
They're just peaceful natives who live there, indigenous folk, who guard the totem that is Korin's Tower. General Tao got to that part of the area first, and he killed Apu's father mercilessly, left that child by himself. Goku tried to avenge, but could not beat Tao, and decided to climb the tower to get extra ultimate spirit water, which would boost his energy levels up enough to face Tao once again. He finds Korin the cat, who tells him that you can have the water, but you have to get it from him first. You got to catch him. And so the cat's too nimble for Goku to catch. Instead of giving up, Goku's ever so persistent, so he decides to just stick it out. And so he does. And in one night, Korin decides to test the boy by letting his guard down and feigning sleep. And Goku, he's like, you know what? Maybe now's the time I could go snatch the water, drink it, and just go fight Tao. And he gets up and he sneaks on over and he looks at Korin and he's like, you know what? No, well, that sucks. I want the challenge. He goes right back to sleep. Korin, his eyes are always closed, sneaks a smile, knows the boy is all good, challenges the child one more time. And in the course of things, Goku finds out that he didn't need the water. He just needed more. He just needed to refine his skills. And so Korin taught him to don't worry about your skill. It's more your reflexes. You're good at fighting, but you got to know how to use your moves.
Just to sum that up in a sentence, the water was the friends we made along the way.
I'm getting some real Kung Fu Panda vibes from that plotline.
Yeah. He goes and he faces Tao Pai Pai, defeats him, avenges his father's death, and tells the boy, you know what, you're not safe here by yourself. Come with me. We're going to get the Dragon Balls and we're going to wish him back. And at this point, Goku's attachment to the 4-star Dragon Ball is now falling away because he finds that there's something bigger than that. In his journey, he goes back to Roshi trying to find out how to find the Dragon Ball. Bulma tells him straight up, right now, since they're turned to stone, my radar is essentially useless. I can't do anything for you. So Roshi's like, I have an ugly sister and we can go ask her because she is a witch. She has a crystal ball, which she can see through. She's a seer. Let's go ask her any question you want. They find Fortune Teller Baba in English. Her Japanese name is Yurinai Baba, which translates to the same thing pretty much. Immediately on site, Roshi and his sister are at each other's throats, calling each other stupid and ugly, back and forth. Fortune Teller Baba's like, I will tell you how to get these Dragon Balls and where to find them, but first, you got to enter my fucking tournament just because I want shits and giggles right now. They're like, okay, cool, we will. So they gather Yamcha and the rest of the gang, like, okay, let's do this. Let's up our chances and try to get this, this information. So they join our tournament. They're literally fighting the universal monsters. Mummy.
Oh, like our Draculas, our Frankensteins.
The Invisible Man, Wolfman, all that stuff. It's all happening. In the long run, they win the tournament. The final battle happens to be with a hidden fighter. For those who are watching, you would immediately tell it's fucking Grandpa Gohan because he's wearing the same fucking clothes, but he's got a mask on.
Yeah.
Goku can't tell because fucking Goku, and faces the old man, to which he can't really beat him, but he doesn't give up. And so in the end, Gohan's like, okay, it's all good. I forfeit. And guess what? It's me, Grandpa Gohan. And Goku's like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in fucking a while. I'm so sad. Happy to see you at the same time. And so they kind of hug and they cry. And then they kind of have to part ways because Gohan's got to go back. And so he kind of tells Goku, you're becoming a good boy and, keep up your training, never change. And so Goku's like, I will live up to that no matter what. Grandpa Gohan, I swear to God. And he fucking does. In fact, that moment was a very huge impact on Goku's life. So much so that when Goku trains by himself, pretty much reanimates the fight with Grandpa Gohan, shadow boxes with his grandpa.
That's so wholesome.
So they get the Dragon Balls. They wish for Upa's father to come back. All is well, and they decide to join another.
Wait, is this where they wish for the moon to come back too?
Oh, that happened sometime later. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It happened interim when they were setting up for the next tournament. By the way, this was our first little bit time skip. So I think Goku and Krillin, jumped a year or a 2 or 3 years up. So now they're about, headed off to, 16-ish, but still very short. Goku just a little bit taller than Krillin, to which Krillin's already short.
A couple of short kings, if you will.
Jackie Chun signs in again, but then they also have to face the Crane Hermit and his 2 students, Chaozu and Tien Shinhan. Not just Tien.
Chaozu! I love Chaozu!
So the legend of Chaozu is that his look is supposed to be based on a character from Journey to the West, which is a ghost child, a kid who was murdered and is permanently a ghost child, pretty much. And so he's based off of him. And so in our world, Chaozu is literally a ESP using ghost child who will never age. And backstory is we don't know if he's actually dead or if this is just how he is, but if he's based on that character, it's safe to assume that he's kind of a zombie. Tien having a grudge because he wants to prove that he is the greatest fucking thing out there. So he wants to face Jackie Chun and he says he will crush anybody in his way. The Eternal Hermit and Master Roshi actually have some old beef way back when. In fact, the Crane Hermit has new beef with Goku because, hey, you killed my brother, the jackass mercenary Tao Pai Pai. So now the tournament goes on. Tien, in the long run, is the victor. He is just way too strong for Goku to face. Is number 1, faces Jackie Chun in the finals, destroys him. just overpowering him. To which Roshi, as Jackie Chan tells him, with all that anger, you're sloppy. You could be way much better than this. And even though you beat me now, I let you win so you can get over that rage, man. Never forget that. And Tien was kind of unsettled with that, but kind of had to settle with it because Jackie Chan was like, oh, you will never face me again. This is the end for that. So you never see me again. So just live with it. Him and Chelsea become kind of kind. They have like a change of heart. Goku continues his journey to find the Dragon Ball. Kind of not. He kind of just wants to go and face things and kind of up his skills.
Training.
In his journey, he confronts Tien again. They have a kind of a spar. They part ways again.
Is this the training arc?
In a little bit, yeah. They're gearing up because I believe at the end of the tournament with Tien, Krillin runs back to retrieve Goku's Dragon Ball that he left behind. And when he's there, he is immediately murdered. To which the gang are like, they're unaware because they're sitting there having dinner and Krillin has returned for like fucking like an hour and change. So Goku has this fucking feeling, and he can't shake it, and he runs there, and they all join him, and Krillin's body is just lying there, and so they try to figure out what happened. And so with clues and such, they find out that the announcer in Budokai, blonde hair, mustache, sunglasses.
Vaguely, but yes.
Yes. Who I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, him. So he was there on scene and he witnessed everything, and so he told them like what happened. So their new quest was now finding out who these fucking lizard guys are, why they took the Dragon Ball, and why they murdered Krillin, and fucking how bad do I gotta beat him for doing that. And so they finally confront one of the lizard guys. Turns out that he works for Demon King Piccolo, who has hired Pilaf and the gang after they accidentally freed him from his prison in that jar because they wanted someone to kind of give them a boost in power, but he's like, fuck you, you work for me. Plus, this version of Piccolo is super giant. He is like 20 feet tall, like Guru, and sits in that giant throne chair.
And if memory serves me right, an asshole.
Asshole of assholes. And so where the Red Ribbon Army left off, King Piccolo takes on from there and starts menacing the world looking for Dragon Balls to restore his fucking youth so that he becomes young King Piccolo and he can wreck shit all over again. He fucking kicks the shit out of Goku. No problem. He kicks the shit out of Tien. Fucking no problem. And Roshi's like, fuck that. I can't do it. They all lose. And so they must train some more. Tien goes on a vengeance quest like, fuck it. I'm going to learn the Mufubi wave, just like old master Motaitu, even if it costs my life, and I'll put this fucker back in the jar. So that's his journey. And Goku's like, I'm just going to get stronger so I can beat the shit out of him. And that's his journey. And so they kind of reconnoiter back. Goku decides to climb the tower again, goes to see Korin. Korin actually does have this thing called Supreme Badass Water that you can drink, my friend, that will actually boost your levels up. And so he actually does give it to Goku this time.
This isn't just like the Toon Squad with water, right? This is actually this time.
This is legit shit. Korin's like, here, drink some of this. It will boost your levels, and you can go face him no problem, right? And he does it. He does a little training program and he leaves. They get back to King Piccolo, who actually made the wish on the Dragon Balls and got his youth back. So he's 10 times stronger.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. He's 10 times stronger than he ever was beforehand. Oh, yeah. Well, sorry. And before Goku left, Korin told him, when you're done with Piccolo, you need to come back here and you need to go further up. And Goku's like, how do I get up there? He's like, up there is where you train with the god, the protector, the guardian of Earth, where you get the supreme training. And he's like, how do I get up there? And he's like, that power pole on your back is not just a pole, my friend. That you can
it's
use
not just a euphemism.
Exactly. It's actually to help you get up there. Plug it into the top of the roof, tell it to extend, and it'll extend straight up into the other part, and you just climb it yourself, and you'll get to the god. So here Goku's just like, fuck it, I need to go do it. So he does it. He climbs. At one point, after defeating King Piccolo, they try the Mufube wave, by the way, and it almost works because Piccolo already knows the move now, and he's young and spry. He gets out of the way just in time before getting hit by the wave and getting sucked back into that jar. So it doesn't work. At that point, Tien loses all his strength. Goku is now the only one to face him. Goku finally beats him by pretty much exploding through his stomach like a cannonball.
And
in his final moments.
Yeah, this is that iconic image that I have seen a handful of times.
Yeah, where he's
there's a big, massive fuck off hole through Piccolo, and that's just it. It's game over.
It's game over. And in his last seconds, he spits out a giant egg, which he literally regurgitates deep down from the fucking esophagus. It's massive. He spits it out, and that would one day become Piccolo Jr.
Our Piccolo.
fuck? What the
Or-
fuck? That's a horrible method of reproduction, and I hate it.
Yeah, would that be asexual creation? Because they're
That would
all
be-
males. They're
Yes,
yeah, right.
that would be asexual reproduction. And
Yes.
I'm looking at the image that BC just sent, and put that back where it came from. So help me God.
He can't. He's done it like 4 times, and that was the last one. I saw him do it 4 times, and each time was gross.
I hate that. Please move on so we can get rid of that.
Yeah, he spits that egg out, and we move on. Goku tells the gang that he's got to go back for some more training. He tells them that you might not see me for a very long time. He used the wish to bring Krillin back. Sorry, I actually mixed that up. Korin told him to climb first. Then he did climb already, and so he already met Mr. Popo.
Mr. Popo.
Yeah, and Mr. Popo told him, when you're done all that, you need to come back here. So he decides that he will, because he has to fulfill the promise. So when he does, his entry level would be facing Mr. Popo. The gang back home already know that Goku's left. They make the wish to bring Krillin back. He wants to go back to see Krillin. They tell him that he can't, because he's made the promise and he can't leave. So fulfilling the promise, he decides to stay. And Mr. Popo's like, from here on out, you're not going to see your friends for a very long, long, long time. And when you're done and ready, we will send you back down to Earth. And Goku agrees. And so his entry-level exam is to face Mr. Popo. And so Goku fucking tries and tries and tries. And eventually he finally fucking does. And he's like, in his head, he's like, I gotta stop trying to react to him with the flow. And so he does. And so every time Mr. Popo decides to do something, Goku decides to mock him. Even so much so as to have his blank staring face. Movement Popo does, Goku does. And he mimics him the whole way through. And then when Mr. Popo thinks he has the upper hand, Goku's like, no, bro, I saw it coming. And he stops him. And Popo's like, now you're ready for further training. And that's when he finally sees Kami. To which he's like, oh my God, you're fucking Piccolo. I gotta kill you. He's like, no. Let me explain that shit. And so for those who don't know, but I believe Z goes over it again, but Kamikolo was his first name. It was one entity. And when he landed on Earth, he wanted to become the next protector of the Earth. And so the original Kami told him, you can't because you got way too much negative energy in you and you got to get rid of that. And so Kamikolo decided to split himself into 2. He split himself into Kami and Piccolo, thinking that maybe the evil one won't be so malicious, but lo and behold, it fucking was. And so he let him off to his devices and decided to take up the role of guardian of the Earth. And so he took over when the original Kami faded away. Goku was gone for, I believe, a estimate of, I want to say about 5 years. And so when he returns to Earth for the final tournament that he's going to be taking place in Dragon Ball, he is a giant. He is, I think, about 19 years old, full grown. And when he arrives, he is literally head wrapped in a towel, keeping his hair dry and using an umbrella, so no one recognizes him. Upon approach, Krillin, Yamcha, Bulma, and the rest of the gang show up to the tournament. They all sign in. Krillin is a bit taller, but not tall enough. And so they're waiting for Goku, and they're freaking out because it seems like he's not there. Lo and behold, they look at the list, and his name is already signed, so they're trying to figure out where the kid is at, because they're thinking, hey, what does he look like now? He probably hasn't changed that much. But one kid in the crowd loses their balloon, and a tall guy grabs it and hands it back to the kid. The rain fades away. He pulls off his towel, and everyone turns around and is like, oh my God, that's fucking Goku. And he's like 6 feet tall, super built, and completely different. And so Krillin immediately is like, fuck you, man. We were the same height at one point, man. What happened? In this tournament, a familiar green fellow joins, goes by the name of Ma Jr., which is clearly a incognito name. It's Piccolo Jr., who makes his presence known as he's fucking going through opponent after opponent. He wipes the floor with everybody, and in the final foray, he's got to face Goku. But first, before Goku gets there, his semi-final match, he's got to face Chi-Chi.
Oh?
A girl he hasn't seen since they were children.
Does she get pants yet?
Oh yeah, she has pants. In fact, Chi-Chi in part of the arc is super cute. Super cute. Before that tournament, when he was still a kid, he kind of revisited the village where Ox King lives, who denounced his kingdom and became just Ox King, but not a king anymore, but still goes by the name Ox King for some reason. And it was there that Chi-Chi kind of like coaxed him into basically. And that's where Chi-Chi was, at that point, Chi-Chi kind of coaxed Goku into marrying her. She's like, well, you're gonna marry me, we're gonna have a wedding. And Goku's like, yeah, sure, if that's what you want. Him thinking that wedding is something that you eat and not an actual thing.
Oh,
He just needs to get this boy, I don't know, an introduction to life and make sure he reads it.
Yeah. So he faces her, and she's basically like really mad at him because she's like, "You don't recognize me." And he's like, "Really, I don't. I really don't. I'm so sorry. Like, who are you?" And she's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this. You promised to marry me." He's like, "Huh? I promised to do what?" And he thinks back a bit. He's like, "Huh? Wait, I remember that word. Wait, who?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh my god, hey, what's up? You that mad at me?" And she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was away doing stuff. If I knew, I'd have come visit, but I wasn't allowed." And she's like, "Oh, well, that forgives everything, and I still love you." And he's like, "Oh,
All right.
okay. Uh, that's
Chi-Chi, the best wife of all time.
yeah." And he's like, "Well, that's weird. Okay." And she's like, "I'm gonna stick by your side." And he's like, "Oh, I just met you. Okay, this is still so weird." And from that point on, she keeps clutching onto him. He's like, "Can you not hold on to me, please? You're too attached. This is weird.
I can't move my arm."
Yeah, I was like, "Can you do you mind?" But affection is affection, and at some point he gets Stockholm syndrome, and he just kind of falls for it. Here it is. This final tournament will be the last place they hold it at the small battlegrounds that they used to have for the Tenkaichi Budokai. Piccolo becomes super giant using his full power, and Goku's like, "Oh shit, what do I do?" And decides to go full all out on him. And I think he just wrecks him with a cannonball move yet again, but not through the chest because he wants to spare him. He's like, "I know there's good in you," because there literally is good in Piccolo. In fact, before Gohan, the kid, Piccolo's first confrontation with a child was saving a child's life, falling debris. He didn't have to do it, so you can immediately tell that this kid, this Piccolo, was a different entity altogether. So Goku kind of felt that and was like, "I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to knock you out now, and you need to stop your shit. I'm going to prove that I'm stronger." And so he does by knocking it, like literally turning into a cannonball and knocking shit out of him. Because the ring is wrecked now, and Tenkaichi Budokai rules are if you come out the ring, it's a ring out. And so by radius, where Piccolo landed, he's out of the ring. And so Goku technically wins the fucking tournament.
Dope.
Get fucked, I guess.
Yeah, and that's how he gets a bit of money, to which Roshi takes it. Because Goku's like, "I don't need any. I have no idea what to do with this.
What is money? What is that concept?
Yeah. Roshi
What
takes
does
it.
money do?
It's like explaining democracy to an ant. Like, it's just
right? Piccolo Jr. Pretty much wakes up, fucks off, tells him, "You know what? You should have killed me." Well, the Japanese quote, "You should have killed me. I'm gonna come back and fucking wreck you. Peace out, bitches," and leaves. Goku's like, "That's all bluff. He's not gonna do any of that shit. Plus, I'm around. I'm gonna kick his ass anyways. It's all good." Kami's like, "Please, you have excelled. You've exceeded my expectations. Please become the new guardian of the earth." And Goku's like, "And you want me to live up there? And that shit's boring. No, thank you. I'm gonna take this girl over here. We're gonna hop on Nimbus. We're out. See you guys later. Peace."
We're out.
And so they fade. Out.
No, that shit's boring.
Literally says, "No, that's too boring for me. Not doing it. I'm out." And Kami's like, "But no, literally, I trained you to do this." And Goku's like, "Ask this guy. I'm out." And literally says, "Ask this guy." And he's like, "I'm out." And so it comes down now to the final arc of Dragon Ball, Goku's wedding.
I love
So
me
here-
a good wedding arc.
Can he just not get married and that be done with? Does this have to be a whole thing?
Oh, this has to be a whole thing. Because this would be Goku's last time to see Grandpa Gohan and they say goodbye after learning the truth that it was him who turned to Ozaru and crushed his Grandpa Gohan when he snapped one night. So after knowing that, he wanted to go apologize to him, but he never knew how to do it. So in this grand quest, because now Ox King was now back in a castle for some reason, don't know why, but I guess he must have restored his fucking royalty. Again, the castle's on fire again somehow, but this time it's from an eternal fire from the gates of hell, which they're like, "Dude, we need you to go get this giant fan to blow that fire out to save my daughter's wedding dress."
That's not how fire works.
But apparently this giant super fan can put out any breeze you need and put out any fires you want.
What's it called?
Bansho fan?
Bansho fan. Bansho. Bansho. Yeah. They were sent to find that fan and a few other items to help them on their way, to which they found out they didn't really need all that bullshit because it was all MacGuffins anyways. And they get to the hell furnace. They face a giant hell goddess who runs the gates of hell. Who has a serviceman, assistant, if you will, who happens to be Grandpa Gohan. Because Grandpa Gohan has a crush on her, and she kind of crushes on him back. And so they kind of hang out.
If he had the game, he got the game.
So Goku and Chi-Chi confront her. They're about to do battle, and then Grandpa Gohan comes out. He's like, hold up. That's my grandson. And Goku's like, oh my God, you're down here? He's like, yeah, I come hang out with her sometimes. Thing. So they talk, and Gohan's like, okay, well, that stuff that you gathered, literally, we're having a furnace leak. And that's why your castle's burning. And so the stuff that you gathered, like that, they had to gather some honey and some stuff. So it's like, we can use that stuff to kind of plug up the furnace. And so they do. And so the fire stops. And Gohan's like, listen, I know you feel guilty about killing me by accident. Listen, I was never angry. I've always forgiven you. I love you. And Goku's like, oh, Grandpa Gohan, I love you back. And he's like, Gohan's like, you're the strongest boy in the world. Like I knew you would be. Keep that up and never change who you are. And
if only he knew what was coming.
Exactly. And Goku keeps that promise up. And Gohan gives Chi-Chi the blessing. And they get married. And that would be the end of Dragon Ball. Technically, in the books, manga itself, Dragon Ball is the entire title. There's no Z, there's no other titles to it, except for the new book Super. Dragon Ball Z is just the title for the TV show itself. And so the following arcs of the Saiyan Saga and the Frieza Saga would be the endpoints of Dragon Ball Full, but I'll save that for another day. How will I rate those episodes? How will I go about that story? Find out next time when I cover Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, shit. I'll be honest. That was a lot. Like, every step of the way, there was something else that made me go, what in the fuck?
Yeah, and
I was taking notes as we go, and like I had to stop. I was like, okay, whose name is this? You know.
I even had to cut some of that up because there's like not a lot in between, but like there's still some threads that I can go over. But it's just little tidbits that carry over into Z that I'm gonna go on about anyways. So my thing with Z is it's only good because if you've watched Dragon Ball, you know all the stuff that they're bringing back from the past into the storylines. For those who've never watched Dragon Ball and you're just watching Z, it's like literally watching, I don't know, Two Towers without watching the Fellowship of the Rings. You skip the whole part and you're just watching it.
You can enjoy it for what it is, but you're still not experiencing it properly.
Yeah, so that's where you're missing out on so much development and such. Again, you don't know like Goku's full training regiment that he really like. Back in the day, he was weak as shit and only had some level of power over like certain enemies, and it's only when he actually went to go get further training where he upped himself on the totem pole. In fact, sorry, the one last tidbit is the fucking running gag in here is for every time Goku goes and trains, the other guys catch up pretty much a saga behind. So when he climbed Korin's tower, he was already at Kami's place. Yamcha and the gang were now climbing Korin's tower. And then when he went to go meet King Kai, they were getting trained by Kami. So they're always going to be behind. And that's the recurring theme that Goku's going to always be ahead. And no matter how much these guys train, they're not going to catch up. If you guys have anything, throw them at me. That's pretty much all the info I have for DB.
I have but one thing. My segue is the end of the show. So, Table, if you've got a thing to add.
I feel like these Dragon Balls might be more trouble than they're worth.
Oh, we're going to get to that at some point too.
But that's another adventure anyways.
So,
yeah.
Okay.
Beastie, if you please.
Yes, well...
wait! I forgot to tell you guys.
Go for it.
At this point, Akira Toriyama's kind of over Dragon Ball and kind of wanted to end it.
Uh-huh.
People weren't ready to... Yeah, they weren't ready to let go. The wedding was supposed to be the end of everything. Happy ending.
Yeah, happily ever after.
More.
Okay, great.
That's right. Then he did the 5 years later, which is Dragon Ball Z. And then, roller coaster of me trying to kill this character ride begins. And I'll get to that. Now we end it.
Beastie, if you please.
All right. As we take the flying Nimbus away from this whole situation of adventure, you can always catch us on our socials, which is our Twitter at Crusade Nerd, our Instagram at Nerd Crusade, and we upload every Wednesday to YouTube, and you can download any previous episodes or listen on your mobile device through the Anchor.fm website or wherever podcasts are found by searching Nerd Crusade.
Chala, head chala. And that's to be continued.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, go ahead and button mash a thumbs up. If you want to swing by when we have a new video, web up the sub button. Oh, and while you're at it, hit the bell to be notified by...